Let's take a look at the book of Genesis on, let's see right here, on does the Bible tell us there was a pre-Adamite race before Adam and Eve? Could this be how Cain took a wife and of whom was scared that they would slay him? Well, let's start just by bearing in mind the word create. Every time you see that mentioned in the Bible, create is the Hebrew word bara, which means to create, and the word make, which is the Hebrew root asa. So the correlation between the two, just notice the difference on how they're used. So we see here on Genesis 1:1, God created bara, the heaven and the earth. And we got the first day, the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day. And on the sixth day, God said, let us make man in our image, using asa for make. And we see that God used the creation word bara for, so God created man in his own image, in the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. So that's on the sixth day of creation. And we know that they were people because God said, and God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Let's just look at the word man right here. We see it as man. It stands just for mankind. Let's see a little further and come back to there. Now we see the end of the sixth day creation. This is the beginning of the seventh day when God rested. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And God said, and on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which he had made. These are the generations. Yeah, we'll go back to that later. And the Lord God, see, this is what happened after that. Now we see in verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So you see how interesting God is forming man, or telling us about it here, when he had already created man there. So that is the first part. And the part after that, and God took the man and put in him the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. So we know that the man was put in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. Could that be Adam? Well, this is the first time Adam is mentioned in the Bible, is verse 19. Out of the ground Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam. So, whatever he called was the name thereof. So, that's the first place we see the word Adam. Could it be that that man that God formed was an earlier, you could probably say, model or revision of man? It's what leads me to think maybe that Adam was not the first man, but he was the one God was concentrated on. So we'll go a little more to support that. And Lord God calls a deep sleep fall on Adam. The second time he's used that name. And he slept and took one of his ribs and closed up his flesh. And the rib which God had taken from the man made he a woman and brought her to the man. Oh, but before we go there, after God created man, and then here it looked like God put him in the garden, all of a sudden, after being told to be fruitful and multiply, man was told to be fruitful and multiply. He said, and the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helpmeet for him." So it'll be good to know who the word man is referring to, because just right here, God had already said to the man and woman, male and female, and blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth." So why is it man changed to Adam right here? So which leads us to believe it could be that when God made man, maybe it wasn't Adam, maybe it was just man, because the first time it brings that up is Adam. And that's in verse 19. So maybe that's how we can lead to the information that there might have been a pre-Adamic race before Adam and Eve. Maybe this man that God had created, which was not named Adam, but maybe this man that God had created from verse 27, maybe that was the pre-Adamic race before Adam and Eve, and also possibly explaining how Cain could take a wife, because if this man, male and female, were to have been a created, which it says it was, and then it said there was no one to till the garden, which leads me to think that they took off or they didn't want to cooperate. And so that might just be how Cain took a wife. If the first male and female that they talk about, if they split, they have everything they need to make children, a male and female, and if they're just not cooperating, they can go out and make babies, and then sooner or later Cain comes around and takes a wife from a different place. So that's just food for thought. So what do you think?